going on, guys? Nick here from Quack Wreck. Today we're going to walk you through the installation of a brand new product for us here in 2020, and that is our aftermarket rear bumper. We're going to be showing you the rear bumper being installed on a Can-Am Defender. Let's start off with walking through the components. So you're going to have a filler plate, the necessary hardware in a hardware pack, a driver side and a passenger side that will be labeled mounting brackets, and then the bumper itself. We're going to dive in and show you guys just how easy it is to install this bumper on a Can-Am Defender. So step one in installing the Quack Wreck aftermarket bumper, you're going to come underneath the bed, remove the nuts and washers from the bed, from the stock OEM hinges, one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. You'll pull those up, loosen everything, and we're going to move on to step number two. So once the hardware is removed, make sure to save the hardware because we will reuse it at a later step. You and a buddy will lift up on the bed and you'll remove the plastic hinges. So as you can see, the plastic hinges just came out and they're going to be replaced by our aftermarket all metal hinges. So as we touched on at the beginning, there is going to be a driver's side and passenger side. That is very important for mounting this, but they will come labeled, as you can see in this video right here, with a P and a D. P notates passenger, D notates driver. So again, you'll take tension off the bed itself by lifting it up, you and a buddy, and you'll install our aftermarket mounting brackets where the OEM, in replacement of the OEM bed hinges that you just took off. Now we're ready to move on to step three in this. These you don't necessarily need to save. These will be tossed. You can do whatever you want to. But we replace this with an upgraded all aluminum bed hinge. So after the mounting brackets are installed on the driver and passenger side, it's time to reinstall the hardware that we pulled off on step number one. So that's going to be a washer and a nut, 2 per side. You're going to need a socket and a relatively long extension just to reach up into that hole, as you can see Ryan doing right now. So there's going to be 2 per side. And once we get these installed and fastened down, we'll move on to the next step. So our driver side bracket, attachment bracket, is installed. Just hand tight for now. We recommend that because there's going to be, when you take these bed hinges off, there's going to be some variation in tolerance, especially from bike to bike. So we recommend, like all of our products, when you install attachment brackets, brackets to the cage, roof, rear rack, whatever it may be, just leave everything relative. Just hand tight it first so you can come back in to very end and tighten everything down. We've got this one hand tight. We're working on the driver's side right now, and then we are going to show you the next step in this installation process. So after you have your mounting brackets attached to the bed, the next step is you and a buddy are going to take the bumper from the ground, or place you're working on, and lift it up, line it up with the 2 brackets. There's going to be 2 tabs on the back of this bumper. They're going to line up perfectly. Hold the bumper up, press it against there, and then you'll use the necessary hardware that we'll put in this slide to hand tighten and fasten everything down. So once you have the mounting brackets installed, the next step is you and a buddy are going to take the bumper, lift it up, and line it up with the brackets. You're going to just hand tighten and fasten it using 4 bolts per side. We'll put in this slide which particular hardware to use. So again, the bumper will come up. You'll line it up with these brackets. In the installation tabs on the back of the bumper itself, there are 4 bolts. Driver, or 4 holes. Driver side, passenger side. At this point in the process, still put the bolts, washers, nuts in, but just hand tighten the nuts at this particular point in time in case we need to make any adjustments further on down the road. So once you have your driver and passenger side brackets installed, as you can see on those brackets, there's 4 holes. So it's going to take 4 bolts and nuts on driver side, 4 on the other side. So you'll simply take the bumper, you and a buddy, off the ground and lift it up and line it up with the brackets. So there's a little pocket on the back side of the bumper that you're going to see. The mounting brackets that a step ago we installed go to the inside of that pocket on both sides. So you'll, again, pick the bumper up, line it up, the brackets will go to the inside, and then fasten everything down. 4 bolts per side, 8 bolts total, and at this point in time, we still just want to hand tighten everything. So put your washers and bolts in, hand tighten the nuts, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now that we have the bed brackets on, both driver and passenger side, the next step we're going to do is install the filler plate. So to install the filler plate, super easy. It's just a plate. You line it up with the holes. There's 2 holes on both sides. You use the provided hardware and just bolt and fasten it together. This is something at this step that you don't have to hand tighten. Just go ahead, put it on, you can crank it down, torque it down, and you'll be good to go. And then we'll move on to one of the last steps, which is going to be installing the actual bumper on the bracket itself. So now that we have the filler plate installed, it is time to install the bumper itself to the bed brackets. I want to point something out before the guys flip it around and we start to install. You can see on these bed brackets, there's 4 holes per side, 8 total. These brackets, when you pick this bumper up and line it up, the bracket is going to go on the inside of this cup right here, this little box. So the bracket will go on the inside on driver's side and inside on passenger side. So we're going to go ahead, I'll flip this bumper around, we'll get it up off the ground and start to get it installed. So take the bumper, you and a buddy, line it up with the mounting brackets. And again, I want to emphasize, this is why it is important to not fasten everything down, torque it all the way down. You're going to need a little play, a little bit of slack and tolerance when you're making everything go on. So just leave everything for this point, like up until this point in time, just hand tight. You can see what we're doing now, taking 4 bolts, washers, nuts per side, and attaching the bumper onto the mounting bracket itself. And then it'll be time to do a 1-through on all the hardware, fasten down, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so now we have the bumper, we have the bed brackets installed, the filler plate installed, the bumper is hand tight to the brackets. We're going to move on to one of the last steps. Now for this step, it will require a 5/16 drill bit, and of course a drill. And we're gonna wrap up the installation on this using these crush sleeves and 2 bolts per side. And we're about to show you how to do that. So to make this process just a little bit easier, more user-friendly, you can take the tailgate off. It gives you a little bit quicker access. Super easy, just 2 latches per side. Tailgate pops right off. Set it to the side, and here we go. This is where it gets fun. So as you can see, we're drilling right here. Your hardware kit, you're gonna get 2 crush sleeves right here. In the bed of your Can-Am Defender, there's gonna be 2 pockets. Take this crush sleeve right here, piece of steel, laser cut out, and center it in the pocket. You're gonna use the pocket as a template to drill your holes that you see we're doing over here on the driver's side. So again, you're gonna take the metal plate, you're gonna find the pocket in your bed, place the metal plate in there, and use that pocket in the bed as a template to mark your holes. You can pull the plate or leave it in, and you're gonna drill as you see us doing over here. So once you've lined this up in the pocket, lined your holes, and drilled them through, you're gonna take the provided hardware, which is gonna be 2 bolts per side with a washer, and you're gonna run the bolt through the hole, through the sleeve, through the hole, and then tighten it on the underside with a nut. So once you got your holes drilled, you're gonna take the provided hardware, a bolt and a washer, you're gonna run it through the plate, through the hole in the bed, and then you're gonna take a socket and an extension, as you see right here, a long extension with the nut, and get up on the back side and fasten that nut, tighten that nut down on the bolt. And this part right here, you might need somebody up here just so the bolt doesn't press back through. And this can be a little tricky. So if you fumble the nut a time or 2, don't worry, we've already done it 4 times on this video. So just keep on going. So now that we've got the driver's side done, we're gonna repeat the process on the passenger side. We took the metal plate, put it in the pocket that's in the bed. Take your 5/16 drill bit. Use the plate with the holes as your template. You don't even need to mark the holes because the holes are already marked on this template right here. Drill through, make sure you get all the way through. You'll pull your plate, use the hardware, 1 bolt, a nut, and attach it to the top of the bed. And once these bolts are in, this is the time where you're gonna take a long extension, a socket, nut and washer, and get up under there, thread it onto the bolt, the installation for the aftermarket Can-Am rear bumper is almost complete. So now we've got both plates installed, bolts, washers, and nuts are on. Now it's time to begin to tighten everything up. At this point in time, you might need two sets of hands unless you got really long arms. Again, it's just 2 bolts per side. Got the driver's side fastened. Now we're gonna move to the passenger side. Let's swap spots, pal. Starting in the back. So now that we have everything attached, we've removed the OEM bed hinges, replaced with our metal bed hinges and bed brackets. We've installed the filler plate, we've attached the bumper, and we've installed the plates that bolt through the bed. It's now time to go back to step 1 and start tightening everything. We want to make sure all bolts, all nuts are tight, fastened, and super secure. And that's about it on the installation of a Can-Am Defender aftermarket rear bumper. So now that we've got everything on, it's time to do a one-through on all hardware. Make sure everything is safely and securely fastened down. Again, this is a 4-step process right here. You're gonna remove the OEM bed hinges and replace with our metal bed hinges and the bracket. You're gonna install the filler plate. You're gonna attach the bumper shell to the brackets themselves, and then you're gonna install these metal plates in the bed, bolt them down. Start from step 1. Make sure everything is super tight, all hardware is fastened down, and you are ready to rock and roll. You're ready to take our brand new aftermarket rear bumper that we offer for Can-Am and Polaris into the field and enjoy it. So we appreciate you guys, and thanks for following along on this installation video.